If you're connecting with someone with a cape, you're connecting with like kind of a god or a demigod. I find it more interesting when you're connecting with people. You sold off all the Gaspar Noé films, which is good for my friend Gaspar. This is a great movie. Everyone should see that film. Amadeus is like, for me, a go-to movie anytime I'm depressed. I think it's a near perfect movie. I was nervous, you know, I was working with her and she's like, oh, go see my movie. And like, oh gosh. It's so weird to see one of these spaces because they don't really exist anymore.
Okay, so welcome, Darren.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome in GM Video, which is one of the last two stores in Paris you can actually rent DVDs. Amazing. I had a first question before going into the movies that you love. What is your relationship with this kind of places and with physical edition?
Well, it's shrinking. I used to, when DVDs first started to come out, they were the most exciting thing in the world because I think they started to really get popular around Requiem for a Dream time. So I finally had a little pocket money. And me and my DP, Maddie, would go to this one store that would always get the new DVDs as they started to print them. And it was just like going to Toys R Us as a kid. It was an amazing feeling just to be like, oh my gosh, it's on DVD. And that's where all of our money went for a long time. And then eventually I took all the DVDs and I stuck them into folders and I alphabetized them. And I have these big books with all the films. But I'd say, unfortunately, I'm more in the realm of digital. You know, I don't know if you know, Pi was the first downloadable streamed movie on the internet.
Legally?
No, yeah, legally. It was, they actually put it out. It would take you 5 hours to download it, but I was like, why is it? But it's a nice little trivia point about the movie.
Perfect. Well, talking about Pi, there's a movie behind you. Yeah. It might ring a bell.
Sure, Tetsuo. Shinya Tsukamoto. I'm a big fan of Tetsuo. You know, it was the type of film you see as a student filmmaker that has so much energy and power and punch and passion. So it was a big inspiration, you know, definitely for Pi. I mean, the way he used the camera expressively definitely like freed me up to like think of it more as a paintbrush and less as a camera. And then I became good friends with Tsukamoto. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but super sweet guy.
Perfect. So maybe we can go to the French section.
Yeah.
Back on your left.
We could stop here with La Strada.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Il lavoro mi piacerebbe. A me mi piace fare l'artista. Siete voi che non mi piacete.
That's super important film for me. I think it's a near perfect movie. I have a 19-year-old son. When I was raising my son, the goal was to get him to be able to watch a black and white movie with subtitles and to appreciate it and have an emotional response. And this was the first film that connected it. It's so simple yet so complicated. It's truly a masterpiece. Wow, so many good films. It's so weird to see one of these spaces because they don't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
But this was so much of my youth was like searching through mostly VHS tapes. They never really did rental DVD things in the United States, or not stuff that had this type of... I guess that's not true.
There was a blockbuster
DVD thing? Yeah.
So behind you have all the French movies.
Well.
And I know that there are some of them that you want to talk about.
The Gaspar Noé section is empty. You sold off all the Gaspar Noé films, which is good for my friend Gaspar. But I love Gaspar's work. I think he's always inventive and always pushing cinema. He thinks about how to make a movie very different. He thinks about it very much as an expressionist, and it's all about pushing the emotion forward. And that's always inspiring.
Which one would you have picked on Gaspar?
For Gaspar? I mean, I just watched Climax recently again. And it's just a beautiful film, but like everything, there's always something interesting in all of them. Edge of the Void, of course, is like really a tremendous movie.
My life is...
I mean, Amélie, similar vein of expressive film. I remember seeing this. I remember them meeting Genet at a party in Hollywood and embarrassing myself because how excited I was. Audrey Tautou is amazing in it. I mean, Haine, by Cassavetes was a big one, especially like it's like the first hip hop movie that came out of, I think, anywhere but America.
So you saw it in theater?
I saw it in the theater. And probably, I'm not sure if that's what turned me on to Vincent Cassel. I might have seen him before that, but that definitely was such an incredible performance, and that definitely led me to thinking about casting him in Black Swan.
This is your moment, Nina.
I put a Godard movie, but I know that it's not the one that you prefer.
Yeah, look, all Godard is interesting. I guess this is Breathless, right?
Yeah.
Ton sourire, quand on le voit de profil, c'est ce que tu as de mieux. Ça, c'est toi.
I mean, I like Breathless, but I'd probably choose Alphaville just for its inventiveness. The idea of low-budget sci-fi was totally an inspiration on Pi, like thinking about how to tell bigger stories with very limited resources. He was the master of that, just like where the style or the narrative is like enough to carry you through a genre film.
Que faites-vous dans Alphaville?
Un reportage pour Figaro Pravda.
This is Hitchcock.
Yeah.
So many of his films could sort of be connected to Caught Stealing in that it's often an innocent man that then gets in over his head.
What the fuck did you get me into?
That was like a great genre of film, which I don't think they make anymore. I guess like Frantic was a more recent one. But usually when they when it's a normal person and they get pressure on them, they suddenly whip out their kung fu, or they suddenly can load a gun in 5 seconds, and they were former CIA. But like in Caught Stealing and in most Hitchcock films, it's just a normal guy and how they deal, which I think is actually more interesting because it's less fantasy and more what, as viewers, we can connect with as like and maybe what we might do in that case.
Which other Hitchcock movie did you have on mind?
I think North by Northwest was a big one that the studio kept referencing.
Do you know this man?
And thinking about it, me and Austin watched this one while making it. But all of them, I mean, they're all just normal people that suddenly are thrust. Even Rear Window.
Well, there's probably nothing important at all. It's just a little neighborhood murder, that's all.
Say murder, Jeff?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did say murder.
Oh.
In fact, Rear Window, someone just pointed out to me, because Bad Bunny watched the film for the first time, and he was talking about how the relationship between Zoe Kravitz and Austin Butler is a very unique relationship in that you never see a relationship about to either go further or not further. Usually it's like you're going to fall in love or you're going to break up. But this was about like, hey, we're getting serious. Are we going to be more serious?
I want to know if I can take this seriously.
What do you need to take us seriously?
Come on, kids, get a room.
And Bunny was saying how original that was, which I hadn't thought about. But then in Rear Window, it's a similar thing where she's basically putting pressure on him. Are we going to go further or not? So nothing's really that original.
Couldn't we just keep things status quo?
Without any future?
Well, when am I going to see you again?
Not for a long time. At least, not until tomorrow night.
Cool. Cool. Cool Hand Luke.
Get yourself a sweetener done, dressed in rhinestone, setting on pedestal of abalone shell.
This my mentor, Stuart Rosenberg, great director, also from the same neighborhood. I was in Brooklyn. He was my teacher in when I was a student at the American Film Institute. The best teacher I've ever had. What a great movie. I mean, Paul Newman, I think Austin Butler, Paul Newman definitely are made from a similar mold. We talked a lot about Paul Newman's performances in different films when we were making Caught Stealing. Just a great movie. He taught me so many things, like get in late, get out early. You know, so many lessons. Every day I think about Stuart on the set. He also did The Pope of Greenwich Village, which has Mickey Rourke.
Why are you being such a coos, huh?
he taught us a lesson about when Mickey breaks up with Daryl Hannah, his back is to her. And Stewart directed him to like show the emotion with his back. And very few actors can do that, but Mickey, of course, can do it. And that gave me the idea when I was starting to shoot The Wrestler, for other reasons as well, because I think people were like, what does Mickey look like? And curious and leaning in. But I was like, you know what? Let's do, as long as we can in this movie, show him from behind so that the audience is kind of leaning in, trying to see his face. And Mickey just kept that going. And so you don't see him till about 10 minutes into the movie. Right next to it, this is a huge influence on us. After Hours, 1987.
I'm Horst. I'm Paul. Hi.
Not the most famous Scorsese's picture.
Although it's coming back. It's very interesting. I'm not sure how I first saw this, but I'm pretty sure, I know I saw it on a VHS tape, and it was a terrible, terrible like transfer. When I was making Mother, I really wanted all the actors to see this movie, and so I tried to find a print. And it was nearly impossible to get a print. No one had a print. So eventually I got in touch with Scorsese, and he said, I have a print. Come to my theater and I'll show it to you. Because it was such a bad transfer, there was nothing in the blacks. So suddenly there was more detail in the cinematography. And also the sound design. The sound mix had been terrible. So like it was like seeing a great masterpiece and then finding out that it's even more of a masterpiece. I've seen it many times, and it was a big influence on us because it's like, you know, a normal character where things start to spiral out of control more and more. And the score is amazing, Howard Shore's score. I could hear it in my head right now. But it's funny because Griffin is also in Caught Stealing. And in After Hours, he's called Paul. And it turns out that he's also Paul in my movie. Someone pointed out to me like last week, and I actually didn't realize it. So last night I was texting with Griffin to try to get him to come to the premiere. And I was like, did you realize that you're Paul in both films? And he's like, I just found out myself. He was on a podcast in Canada and they told him, and he didn't know either. So in some ways, I kind of wish that the Paul from this movie quit his job on Wall Street and opened up a bar in the East Village. And actually, it was the same Paul. The timeline wouldn't work, but it would have been cool. So maybe it sort of works. But
it sort of works,
this is a great movie. Everyone should see that film. Absolutely. This is a childhood favorite. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Hey, how am I supposed to see what you... Holy God, what do you want? I'm taking your train.
How does it? It doesn't translate as well.
It's the
thieves
pirates,
of
the pirates
train.
of the subway.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah,
terrible. But it's just has incredible aesthetics, and it's just such a New York film of the 70s, and the characters are great. Walter Matthau, truly one of the great actors, and it's just a great thriller. And I always go back to it. It always makes me happy. Yeah, you have to choose one Lumet for Caught Stealing, and this is the obvious one. Most people have seen it. Dog Day Afternoon.
You the manager?
It looks... Just keep talking like nothing was wrong.
What the hell does that title translate to?
A Dog Afternoon.
It does, okay.
Yeah.
How do you say dog?
Chien.
Chien, okay. Oh yeah, The Afternoon of Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing film. Sidney Lumet's totally the patron saint of Caught Stealing. He was the master of making New York City films. This is definitely his masterpiece, I think his opus. And it just has so much of the energy of New York City. It is its own love letter to New York and New Yorkers, for sure. And my film, Caught Stealing, is made by all New Yorkers, about New York. Most of us lived through the 90s in New York, and so it was very much a love letter to New York as well. But it's funny that these are next to each other, because Spike, who's a huge influence on me, probably the reason I'm a filmmaker, I saw She's Gotta Have It when I was a teenager, and I was like, oh, a movie can be like this? This is also shot by Matty Libatique, my DP. But what's interesting, Spike made a bank robbery movie, and he actually cast so many of the actors from this in this film. Carol Kane's in this movie and in my movie, as well as Marsha Jean Harden, who's like an actress who was in Requiem for a Dream and is a good friend of mine, and was also in Dog Day Afternoon. I mean, it's a great bank robbery movie. Spike does this a lot, is like he references great films.
I'm a cinephile.
I'm a cinephile.
This has nothing to do with those two movies, but this is a total favorite.
Hi, Harry Angel. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Angel.
Angel Heart is like such an important movie in my life, and that I mean it's what made me fall in love with Mickey. I mean, I quoted him today when they said, "Do you speak French?" and he says in the movie, "I'm from Brooklyn."
You speak French, Mr. Angel?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Which is true for me too. So it's so deeply in my blood, this film. But it's interesting stylistically. It's not at all how I work, but I think Alan Parker is one of the great underappreciated masters. Every film he did was beautiful, nearly masterful, if not masterful. It's sad that his career got short. I got to meet him and have a couple bottles of wine with him one night at dinner, and it was great. We connected later in his life. I really wanted to help him get back to filmmaking, but it was too close to the end. But wow, what a great filmmaker. And what a great vision.
I picked a movie because I wanted to talk about Austin Butler.
Sure. We can talk a little bit about Elvis.
I watched that skinny boy in the pink suit transform into a superhero.
Well, you may go to college.
I mean, Baz is great and always kind of surprising, but definitely this was my exposure to Austin, first time I saw him. I remember when he got cast. There was a lot of press on the casting of Elvis by Baz Luhrmann. It was everywhere. And I was thinking, like, how did he not choose Harry Styles? Or there was a few other people that I was like, wow. And no one heard of this guy. And I remember looking at the face of Austin going, okay, I could sort of see it. And then Austin pulled it off. There's two types of biopics. There's a biopic that doesn't work, and then there's a biopic that works, and how they work is one that you believe that the actor is the character. Like, you kind of believe it. I mean, Timothy did it with the Bob Dylan one, which was super hard to do because Bob Dylan's so well known, as is Elvis. But you kind of buy that they are that person. You forget while watching the movie what the real person actually looked like, and you kind of buy into it. And then you could see, I won't name them, but you'll see other biopics where it's just like, no, that's just an actor playing that person. It's not real. Amadeus is, like, for me, a go-to movie anytime I'm depressed.
That was Mozart.
I will go to this movie and it will cheer me up. It's exceptional. I mean, it's filled with so much joy and so much beauty. The performances, the music, the production, it's just a remarkable accomplishment. Definitely always in the top 5.
That's interesting that you say it brings you so much joy, because for me, what I recall, the end, is so depressing.
Yeah, but I think it's a very depressing movie, but the beauty of it is just overwhelming. The beauty of that movie is just like the lushness of it, the believability of all the characters. And I think the massiveness of the pain at the end is beautiful. I find that beautiful. I mean, same like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's filled with like all of humanity, like the dark, the great, the genius, the insufferable, the insanity. It's just all there, breathing. And then when you have, like, the reason I bring up The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, because that too is like an opera in the sense that it leaves all genre. It stops being drama of any type, and it just becomes opera in the sense that it's like music and image blended into pure emotion. And that's what Amadeus does at the end. You know, for me, the best musical, probably best concert film. I mean, there's a lot of good concert films, but it's up there for me. Stop Making Sense. The conception by the Talking Heads of reverse engineering a concert and starting off with a bare stage, and then turning into getting more and more elaborate. It's just so much fun and brilliant. I always share this film. I'm so happy A24 did a re-release. I didn't see the re-release. It's embarrassing, but I'm very upset. But talking about Demi, this was my editor's pick for me to watch while making Caught Stealing.
God damn you,
Hey, Charlie.
I saw your wedding ring. Shit! I saw the family pictures. I get myself involved with a married man who's not even married.
You know, I was married when those pictures were taken.
He kept pushing me to see it eventually. I had seen it when it came out. Something Wild. Dangerous to report. What is it like?
Dangerous in every way.
Dangerous in every way. You know? Yeah. So I feel bad for the French because your titles suffer because when the translations, it's like, you know, I think spiritually it's related to our film in a lot of ways of like, once again, a normal character getting sucked into another universe and over their head. Kind of David Lynch does it too, actually. If you think about Blue Velvet, you have a normal character who's getting sucked into this world that gets darker and darker. I love the genre because I think, once again, if you're connecting with someone with a cape, you're connecting with like kind of a god or a demigod. But I find it more interesting when you're connecting with people and humans. Another big influence on us, French Connection.
All right, Popeye's here. Get your hands on your heads. Get off the bar and get on the wall. Come on, move. Move.
Still probably the greatest chase scene ever, but definitely the best chase scene ever in the city of New York. Nearly impossible to accomplish in today's world. Like I don't think with all the regulations and laws, I mean, look, we had so many more tools in caught stealing. Nowhere near as much time. You know, there's like this weird thing, like filmmaking back in the day, you'd have 150 days to make a movie because labor was cheap enough and you could just actually take that time. But you needed it because if you showed up that night and you watched dailies and there was a C-stand in the middle of the shot, there's nothing you can do except for go back the next day and shoot it. Now, with digital, we have the advantage of, oh, okay, we'll just erase that. And so truly everything had to be perfect. So they had more time, but ultimately I think the more time allows for like a chase scene, like in French Connection, and also probably with less legal restrictions, you can race cars around, you know, and probably do stuff. We did our best on caught stealing. We definitely went back to the spirit of this movie, which is like real physics, real world chase scenes, you know, because I think movies have moved more and more into like the impossible, which is great, but I think sometimes it goes past impossible and people are just not that interested. And now with like all the new AI tools, it's just going into the surreal. So I think grounding in real emotion, real physics, real people like we do in Caught Stealing, that's kind of been the goal of what we did in that one. Should talk about Zoe's movie.
What are we gonna do about you?
Zoe directed this. It's really, really pretty good. And she is a director. She really is a director. I was nervous. You know, I was working with her and she's like, oh, go see my movie. And like, oh gosh, I was really nervous. But I went and I was just like, oh wow, she can direct. And she has a lot of style. And I'm really looking forward to her future output. I'm just noticing Jarmusch. So he was, next to Spike, he was the other one that got me going. And I would probably go with Down by Law.
I was alright for a while.
And this was just inspiring because it showed you how much you could get done with just a camera and some actors and with a point of view. So I watched a lot of Jarmusch. Oh, here's my section.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is what I'm most proud of. So go out and see that one. It'll bother you the most, though. If you've only seen this one, you're not a fan. If you like this one, you are a fan.
Let me tell you a story.
That's a good one. Everyone likes that one. You know, Brendan Fraser's amazing. Ooh, sorry, who'd I pull out? Hal Ashby. Sorry, Hal. Thank you, though. That's beautiful. That's so much fun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Konbini. Ce n'est qu'un au revoir, mes frères. Ce n'est qu'un au